Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Tanel, and today we're talking about sea salt soaking for the skin. What is it, how to do it, and why you should be doing it while you're healing your skin naturally from eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, acne, rosacea, or pretty much any other chronically inflamed skin condition. And right before we dive in and have this discussion, of course everything you need to know is included in my skin healing online course. It's the first link down in the description below. And I want to thank each and every one of you who has bought my course or the ebook or a consultation, coaching, or the Discord membership, because you directly funded this, what you're seeing right now. We have a camera, we have a lens, mic, the lights, cables and such. It took some time, but I put it together, and the plan is to just make videos, like hundreds of them. Probably uploading once a week, something like that. So, thank you. And if you haven't gotten my course, the link is down in the description. And so, when it comes to healing the skin, it's not just about the foods. The foods are important. They are the way you heal your gut. They are the way you supply your body with the necessary nutrition, and it's also the way that you avoid a lot of the triggers and the troublemakers, right? But what is often overlooked or underestimated is everything else, like your lifestyle. What do you do on a daily basis? You can call them habits, you can call them practices. And sea salt soaking, in my view, it's more like a habit, because we go and shower it sometimes daily, depends on your lifestyle. If you're working out, probably daily. And all you really do is add this little habit in front of every time you go to have a shower, or when you're washing your hands or face, wherever you have a problematic area with your skin, right? And so with sea salt soaking, what we're essentially doing is we are mimicking the healing salty waters of nature that have been there for a lot of time. Okay, we have historical records of the Dead Sea, for example, somewhere near Israel, Jordan, Middle East, where people from Egypt would bring their sort of, diseased people with skin diseases to heal there. They would see that this extremely salty water would help the body heal from this, bodily disbalance, this disorder of the skin. And what sea salt soaking really does, basically, why you would do this is when you feel itchy, it takes away that itchy layer. That's why I started doing it. Anytime I felt itchy, I would do this. It's always followed by, some cold water, so you combine many of the benefits, right? And since you have all those minerals there, of course, you can do sea salt soaking with normal sea salt, or Epsom salt from England, or just, the normal sea salt can come from, the ocean or a Mediterranean Sea. But I would still say that the top one, the number one salt you can get for sea salt soaking is the Dead Sea salt. Salt from the Dead Sea. You can find some products that have some of that mud in there as well, but we're talking about the salt specifically. Now, if you're on a budget, just do this with normal sea salt. Chances are it comes from, the Mediterranean if you're somewhere in Europe. So we have this historical background to this. It's always been a thing. But there's also something that you experience yourself, and you've probably heard this so many times. People go on vacation, they go to somewhere in Hawaii, for example. I have been there for a summer. The water is really salty. The first time you go into the ocean, you feel the salt. It's surprising for people who haven't, gotten used to this. For me, places I would go to swim would be lakes and rivers and such. But besides the ocean, of course, there's all these seas. People go to Europe, or when you're living in Europe, let's say, you would go to south of Spain, Italy, Greece. It's all the Mediterranean Sea. And when I was still struggling with my skin, me and my wife, back then we weren't married yet, but we went to south of Spain to visit a friend, and we went swimming in the Mediterranean Sea. And once again, I felt the saltiness of the sea. And back then my skin was really bad, and this was exactly before we flew back, and I fasted on the plane, and I really started doing all the things to heal my skin. This was years ago. That's how I healed my skin. That's where it all started. So for me, sea salt soaking Even though there's so many studies about this, I've been posting this on stories in the Discord server, but for me personally, I just found it from experience. And when I flew back home, I would imitate that. And that's what I recommend you doing. And that's how I recommend looking at these things, right? So it's not something that I invented, it's not something, some magic, it's just something that works. And so there are many ways to imitate the salty sea that you maybe also experienced on vacation and you flew back, you have skin problems again. Well, take back as much as you can from that vacation. You know, you can eat good food. Typically, you would, for example, again, Italy, you would go there. They are very passionate about the quality of their food, heritage food, the recipes and everything. So you can also prioritize that when you come back. Or when you go to a vacation, sure, there is the salty sea, there is the sunlight, and there is the grounding that you get, the positive emotions. You get away from overworking, or you get away from that environment that you're in at home usually, right? All of those things you can imitate. You can bring that back in some form or another. And sea salt soaking is the easiest one to start from. So let's get into it. Basically, you just get a bowl. Right? This can be a plastic bowl, easiest way to do this. Of course, you can use a bath, but just to keep it easier to do with less restrictions, less, budget problems or whatever you might be facing. This is just speaking from experience. Different clients are in different positions. Just take that bowl. So you're going to the shower, you take that bowl, you fill it up with water. Now, what kind of water do you use? It's not going to be too hot, it's not going to be too cold. You want the salt to dissolve in the water. You don't just put the salt on your skin, okay guys? Had a client who did that, not good, it irritates the skin. So, I'm gonna make this clear. Use clean water. The water is warm, not too warm. And then you ask me how much. This depends. Just experiment. Usually I just take my hand, I fill it up, and I add it to the water. It dissolves. And as I'm stirring this water, I will feel the salt dissolve, and it's ready. Now, this depends, of course, where you have the skin problem. Is it in your face, your hands, your arms, your legs? But in the shower, it's easy to just, splash it on, basically. And, usually it has something to do with your arms somewhere, so you can put your arms into this bowl of salty water. And you hang out there. You don't want to rub it too much, just enough to feel the effects of it, cleaning your skin, remineralizing your skin, killing off some of those, maybe pathogens or whatever you might be dealing with. And you basically have about 20 minutes. Usually it's not going to be that long. Usually it's just 5 minutes and you're done. But if you really want to take your time, 20 minutes is enough. Don't go more than that. Of course, the temperature drops anyways, so while you might be getting the good stuff in or the bad stuff out, when you're washing it like that, after 20 minutes, your skin starts to reabsorb some stuff, so just 20 minutes is max, usually it's 5 minutes. And then you just have your shower. We'll talk about shower later, what you use as your washing product. And the water, of course, needs to be clean in the first place. In my case, I just came to live here when I was healing my skin years ago. This is clean, well water at the countryside home, but in the apartment now I just use a filter. You can get a nice purification station for your water, or you can just use something smaller, just experiment. That very often helps you with healing the skin. And that's pretty much it. You just do this. That's the most basic way to do sea salt soaking daily. The easiest way, that's how I did it. But a step further, if you want to be hardcore about this, you can actually try and imitate quite accurately the Dead Sea, for example, or the Mediterranean, but let's take the Dead Sea as an example. You could try to hit those highly saturated percentages. Now, this means you'll be using a lot of salt. So depending on where you live, what kind of lifestyle you have, you might be able to experiment with this. I tried it out, I don't really see a point. But in Estonia, in my home country here in the north, in my hometown Pärnu, I think it was not in Hedon, it was in Estonia spa, if I'm not mistaken. They have this special bath that imitates the Dead Sea, and you're actually floating on it because it does have that much salt in it. When I went there with family, I noticed that you can actually read, they have listed all the minerals inside there. So you really get the sense that it's not just salt. You have sulfur there, you have potassium there, all good stuff. And in this combination, of course, it's so saturated that if you have this open wound-like eczema or psoriasis or whatever you're dealing with, if it's that bad, you won't be able to go into this. So it's much better to just do what I just described in a little bowl, just enough salt to get it over with, right? You still get the benefits, you just have to do it more consistently. But if you just have skin problems that are not open wounded, yeah, you can get into a place like that. It can sting a little bit. They tell you not to shave, for example, because you will feel it. And of course, if you have access to the ocean or a salty sea, take advantage of this. Make this a lifestyle thing. Go to the beach. I understand you might be very self-conscious, antisocial already, because maybe your back is full of acne or your arms are just covered with eczema or dermatitis or psoriasis or whatever. But you have to be bigger than that. You have to ride that tiger. You cannot let that tiger eat you, okay? You have to be on top of things. Take advantage of the sun. Take advantage of the salty seas that you have access to. Get grounding. Combine all of those things in your favor, okay? Get over the opinions of other people. This ties back to the emotions as well and everything else. But that's the best way to do sea salt soaking. Go and just swim in salty seas. If you cannot do that, then imitate that at home in a bowl or a bath. Sea salt soaking, it's really simple. Just keep doing it and you'll see that it's a helpful tool. It's a nice habit to have while you're doing all the other things as well. So none of these things that we talk about work on their own. Some of them might be more effective for you, in your case, uniquely, personally. But the idea is to really combine it all together into a lifestyle. You know, that's how you actually heal it and actually get to live with the results you have. The same way that me and my clients and my friends and people who are my audience, who have benefited from my videos, posts, I've gotten the course. You know, that's the way to do it, okay? If you have questions, leave them down in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. Let me know if you like the studio setup. One of the lights is not working as well as I wanted it, but I'll fix it later. Let me know whatever videos you want. Stay strong, stay consistent, and the results will come just like it has come from me and from my clients. Thanks for watching. The next video to watch will appear on the screen now. And I'm going to eat some eggs. I'll talk about eggs in a different video. Noise.